Photoshop are pieces of an image and any other items added to the image. For example, each layer in this photo contains a file we imported to create this project. On each layer, we have at least one object. Importing will be covered elsewhere in the course. Before we compare raster and vector graphics, let's ensure we understand the main file types from exporting this content. You probably won't send this file as is because it has a .psd extension and is only viewable to another person if that person has the Adobe suite, thus making it useless to everyone else. A graphics interchange format is used for animations and transparency. GIFs only support 256 colors, so they are not usually the format of choice for photos. But logos built in Illustrator are often saved as GIFs. Joint Photographic Experts Group, JPEG or JPG, is a very popular format as it supports millions of colors in photos. JPEGs can be made smaller in file size but can affect the image's quality. Portable network graphics, PNG, is a prevalent format as it is known for supporting transparency like GIFs do, and quality is not sacrificed as a file is sized down. PNGs also support millions of colors. One older format mentioned in the exam topics is bitmap, BMP, an older format that supports millions of colors, but file sizes are typically larger than that for GIF, JPEG, and PNG files. One advantage of a BMP file is that it is well suited for images with sharp edges. Bitmap is one of many raster formats for graphics. A raster graphic uses pixels to build an image. Resizing an image can cause it to lose its quality. That is due to the amount of pixels not fitting properly within the space given for the image. Take this image, for example. I will select Image and then Image Size. I will make sure the Resample checkbox is cleared, and let's see what happens if we make this image half its original size. The resolution will double as all these pixels need somewhere to go. Thus, when resizing an image, we should also resample the image. Resampling changes the size of the image by changing the number of pixels in the image. I will return this image to its original dimensions. Select the Resample checkbox and reduce the image size by 50%. Notice that two things happen. First, the image has fewer pixels. But look at the actual file size. It's down to 25% of its original size. One way to get an image file size down is to make it smaller as long as the image is being resampled as it is being resized. If we use this image in an ad campaign, it will load much faster than the original, which will help the overall appeal of an ad being viewed digitally, as people will not wait for slow pictures to load. We have talked plenty about raster graphics. Let's now focus on vector graphics. Vector graphics do not use pixels. Rather, they use math-driven paths of straight and curved lines to build a graphic. This mural for a wall is an example of a vector graphic. I can zoom in on this graphic, and it will not look pixelated because vector graphics do not use pixels. There are situations in which we need to convert a vector graphic to a raster graphic, mainly to fit with a file format that does not support vector graphics, or to apply a filter that only works with raster graphics, or in this case, remove this background so that this mural will blend into a wall, as we see with this finished version of the file. This conversion is known as rasterizing a graphic. I will rasterize the layer containing the mural to see what this looks like. The mural is now pixelated along with the rest of the image. And as a preview for what is to come with selection tools, I will use the magic wand to select the white background and select the delete key on the keyboard to delete the background. The last term to know in this group of terms is rendering. which means different things in different Adobe programs. In Photoshop, rendering separates an object from its background and allows one to add various visual effects to the object. We'll see this process elsewhere in this course. Before moving on to the next topic, you probably feel overloaded with terms and concepts. Adobe programs do have a lot of complex tasks that need completion. As you learn these tasks, focus more on what the app can do and the first step in completing a task, rather than trying to memorize every step. Consider what we did when seeing how to resize this image to show an example. If you remember to go to the image menu to resize an image, once this dialog box appears, you can usually figure out what needs to be done. Colors are a crucial aspect of any graphic design. And in Photoshop, color choice can make a difference between a visually appealing photo and one with little or no appeal. To make the best choices on color changes within an image, we must understand some basic tenets of how colors come to life in images. First, we must understand color mode, the set of colors used for an object. For this image, I will select the image menu and then mode, and we see several color modes. I will focus mainly on the three color modes in the exam objectives: CMYK, RGB, and grayscale. RGB uses a mix of three primary colors to have available colors for images: red, green, and blue. These combinations allow for up to 16 million colors to choose from. RGB is the primary color mode for digital display, which will be needed for any online ad campaign. The other main color is CMYK, which uses cyan, magenta, yellow, and black colors. These four colors are the standard colors used for print. As printers, use for their ink colors cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And the percentage of each dictates the colors you see in a printed output. Think of any color printer you may have used. What ink colors do you need for the ink cartridges or toner? Yes, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Before we continue, here's a real-life tip. Pay close attention to the colors in a photo when you convert one, as I will do here from RGB to CMYK, or vice versa. There will be subtle differences in the look between the two color sets, as the two color sets do not have the same gamut of colors available, and such a change can affect the overall look of a project, though it may be imperceptible. And yes, gamut is another term to know. Gamut is the range of available colors in a color mode. RGB has a gamut of about 16 million colors. CMYK has a gamut of about 4 billion colors. So converting from CMYK to RGB will usually produce a more noticeable difference on an image than RGB to CMYK. Grayscale is another popular color mode, and when chosen, renders colors of black, white, and gray, with a total of 256 shades of gray available. 256 is a number I will use to cover the final color term in this topic, bit depth. Bit depth is another way of measuring available colors in a color mode. Technically, bit depth is the number of bits used to represent a pixel. The more bits, the more colors available. Grayscale is an 8-bit color. Thus, there are 256 colors available. RGB is a 24-bit color, allowing up to 16 million colors.